This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gab-fed show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. You have the code for the machine of lethal moving parts that you would be lied to or if you never did. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hi, folks. I'm MJ. I host the World of Conscious Positive Thinking, where we take old belief patterns and we flip them into the most conscious, positive ways that we can go to have balance, peace, and harmony in our life. So what are you doing with those old belief patterns and old belief systems that you really don't believe in anymore, but you're told to do it? Well, we're going to flip them right here on the World of Conscious Positive Thinking, right here on our beautiful mbradio.us. Hey, that girl looks familiar. Good morning, good happy Monday morning. It is May the 12th, special day in my heart. 16 years ago, I decided that I was going to date the mister. Yeah, so it is a good day for me today. Happy Mother's Day. I know I'm a little bit late, but not by much. You know, we're only, 9 hours too late? It's okay. It's like somebody just said, it's Mother's Day. I don't care how many minutes. You got 24 in all. So here we go with Family Feud. We're going to do that because Mother's Day was yesterday and the full flower moon is today. So full flower moon is in effect and energies rise during the full moons. Some people, if you are a nurse or you work in the emergency room or you're a first responder, you're like, damn, it's a full moon. Why do the crazies come out in a full moon? Well, are you calling me crazy? Come on. We're not going to do that Monday mornings. Come on. We're not going to do that to you. No. However, 24 hours before an actual full moon and 12:56 today, Eastern Daylight Time, you will absolutely get our full moon's strongest energy because it peaks at 12:56 Eastern time today, right in the middle of noon today it peaks. So all of our friends on the other side who are in darkness are getting that full effect. However, 24 hours prior to that, we actually start feeling the effects. There are some people who are extremely sensitive to energies and frequencies that they might even feel it 2 days before the full moon. So can you imagine? Here we are, another family gathering just to play the game Family Feud. No, don't we wish? Actually, that'd be the best thing to get it because sometimes if we have irritations in the family, we can get them out by being competitive. Who believes that statement? Please do not raise your hand. Please out there, don't raise your hand on that because sometimes if there is a feud within and amongst, then playing competitive games can sometimes linger in a higher unhealed frame of mind or energy that just isolates and keeps climbing. So it might not be one of the best things that we could do physically or metaphysically to ourselves. So, but we still have to go. We still have to honor mom, right? So family tradition, everybody gets together at mom's house. Are we going back to the old belief patterns that this is how it's done and this is how it has to be done? And maybe your mom is in her later 80s, 90s, whatever. And maybe she likes those traditions. Then, for the sake of God, can we get along, please? Because if you think by any given law chance that your mother yesterday wanted chaos in her life, just look on social media. For every 5 happiness, you see one complete debacle of something gone wrong. And most of the time, you're right, there is competitions involved. There is alcohol involved. Normally not marijuana because they're just mellow. They're just, those people, they're just mellow people. But alcohol does play a little point. Other recreationals will play a part of that unhealedness. And just go through social media. You can see one after the other. Now you go, okay, so if you believe in the energies of the full moon and what the energies they're supposed to be bringing in, you're like, well, that was a rough one, right? But please, don't even think that your mother on Mother's Day wanted anything besides in her mind to be at peace. Whether she was at peace in her favorite spot, and maybe that's getting her hairs and nails done, that's her peace. Go ahead and let her. If it was at the beach with nobody bothering her, just listening to the seagulls and the ocean waves, then let her. Let her be. That is the only thing I can say. Sometimes letting them be, if they're especially a mother with young kids right now who is every day with chaos, every day with something else, every day, you're a parent, a mom or a dad, you know that chaos, right? That sometimes is enough to go, Calgon, I want to go away. I just want to go away. I just want to be taken away. And then you're just like, MJ, but sometimes that can't happen. I understand. Sometimes that can happen. And sometimes that we have to get together, right? And hopefully as your mother is more older and wiser, she'll smile at you guys nagging on one another or hitting on one another or poking on one another, right? We had enough of that. We had enough of that on the under 8s, right? We had enough. And if you're still a mom with under 8s, just breathe and hope that your partner alongside of you can give you that beautiful break. I know if you are a wife-wife scenario, it's a little bit challenging, a little bit more challenging on Mother's Day when we have those babies. But then maybe if all plausible, we can't find, somebody to assist who is maybe not a mom who would like to take your children so that you guys can go out or you guys can do something, whether it be peace. Everyone says, what'd you do for Mother's Day? Exactly what I wanted to do and loved doing. And I'm back to, to be it, which is just being my hippie good self and bathing in the sun. I had such a beautiful day. It was only like 62 degrees, but there was no wind. No wind. Just clear blue skies with this beautiful sun. And it was so refreshing outside, so beautiful. My body absorbed every ounce of that vitamin D, and it was so needed. And so I got grounded. I grounded myself into Mother Earth. I got to smell Earth. I got to enjoy it outside. And for me, that was an euphoricness of peace, believe it or not. I heard from my daughter called me, and I'm glad because she's also a mom. So seeing... and here we are, her baby girl, she's the youngest, and I think she's 6 now. And she's like, okay, we're going to go. Let's go. We're going to go to the park. Are we going to go play? Let's go and play. Because she didn't understand it's her mom's day. So we have to honor those little creatures who can't understand it, but love you totally and honor and that you are there for them, right? Because they know that you have just as much fun at the park and in the playground as they do. See, and that's how we're going to flip it, all moms out there with those young ones. You need to flip it. Their mind cannot even absorb the motherness of that beautiful day, even from the start of the Virgin Mother all the way down. So, good morning, Miss Ava. Good morning to you. I love that I'm one of Eva's people. I'm in her people guard and I'm one of hers. So plant me up, Eva, plant me up. So that is one of our DJs. Good morning to you. So yes, it was a beautiful Sunday morning, and you could not ask for a happier day on my end. Just serene peace and just an euphoricness of being in such clean air and crispness up here. It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day. Now, had I had, the family and had everybody been together, now let's hope that the etiquette of Mother's Day is short and sweet and let's get out. Do your do, right? We are by human conscious programmed. Oh, yes, we are. We are so people. Oh, I'm not. Yo, you are. You're programmed on how we react to events from the past that we can't heal. And you're programmed from little bitty. Do you have a sibling who always, every time that there is something, they always have to have a memory of some kind of crap? Something. They always have that memory. Why every time you come, you have this memory? And then you have to ask them, right? Are you unhealed? I'm sorry that happened 48 years ago. I'm a different person, right? You have to own it. Own it. Eva, when my kids were little, we used to go camping on Mother's Day weekend. Not too hot, not too cold, and no, absolutely. See, let them enjoy, because even camping they got to go do when you had your peace, right? Sometimes it's not about taking mom to a breakfast or a dinner. It is just finding happiness and balance and peace. Find it. We all have it. But when we hold grudges and we get together, guess what happens? It never gets healed. And if you know that they're angry at you and you're like, but I didn't do it. The minute you come out of your mouth and say, I didn't do it, instead of saying, I understand how you might have perceived this. Can I please give you my side? And I apologize on my side that I did not see yours. Wow. There's some really good words that will come up. Now lives are too busy, but still enjoy it. Yeah. Though the outdoors, I said, we do something up here on our retreat mountain, and it's called Shinrin-yoku. And it is a Japanese art of forest bathing. Certain plants on mountains help us with different emotions and different decoding of our soul's track. And so it is a practice in Japan, and it has been brought over. So it is quite pleasant. I do like it. So anything in the outdoors is very grounding. Ground into Pachamama and sing, because sing will elevate that vibration higher, or oming, and just sit there. You won't believe the energy, but you got to get out of the concrete. You got to get out of, the concrete jungles and get your feet planted, get your rubber shoes off, get your feet planted in there, or your rump. Sit down and put your rump in it. So all of that is really, really good. So yeah. So we're not playing Family Feud if we know we have issues going on. And I'll tell you what, folks, we're going to take a small break, and then we're going to dive into some extremes that maybe we can flip some patterns that happen when our families get together, especially on a beautiful holiday like Mother's Day and the full moon. Oh, let's see. You know what? I want to go with Lauren Rose. I haven't played Lauren not a long time, but a little bit. And it's called Hello, My Name Is. Empowering herself to do what everybody else said she might not be able to do. Do you know somebody like that? Probably one of your mothers. Maybe the fear of having that child to begin with. She had to have that confidence, and this here is going to give her that confidence. That's what I like about Lauren Rose. You can interpret this any way you have it. So we'll be right back. You're watching mbradio.us. My name is MJ. My show here on this beautiful station is called The World of Conscious Positive Thinking, and I enjoy each and every one of you for joining. We're going to go to Lauren Rose. We'll be right back.
Too big, wanting to grow up way too quick, searching for spotlights since I was 6. Hello, my name is Dream Too Big. Hello, my name is way too loud. My voice can cut right through a crowd. Got made fun of for it, but who's laughing now? Hello, my name is way too loud. I know I've had my moments and I've had heartaches, but God is making miracles out of my mistakes. You can say I won't make it, and I can tell you that I don't really care. 'Cause hello, my name is going somewhere. Go far. Lost all my words in a mason jar. Locked eyes with a stranger at the end of the bar. Hello, my name is You'll Go Far. Well, hello, my name is One More Try. I put too much stock in bad advice, 'cause anything worth leaving is worth loving twice. Hello, my name is One More Try. I know I've had my moments and I've had heartaches, but God is making miracles out of my mistakes. You can say I won't make it, and I can tell you that I don't really care. 'Cause hello, my name is going somewhere. Yeah. Hello, my name is getting knocked down. You're never gonna leave the ground. You can tell us all about it when you come back around. Hello, my name is getting knocked down. Hello, my name is Stand Back Up. Keep moving even when it gets rough. I've given so much, but I ain't giving up. Hello, my name is Stand Back Up. I know I've had my moments and I've had heartaches, but God is making miracles out of my mistakes. You can say I won't make it, and I can tell you that I don't really care. 'Cause hello, my name is going somewhere. Going somewhere. Yeah, yeah, Oh, it's going
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
That was Lauren Rose Thayer. Hello, my name is. What a beautiful, beautiful song that is. It's one of the oldies, but a goodies. So check her out. Go on to Spotify, go on to YouTube, help her in her efforts and help and sponsor her because we love her here at MB Radio. So anyway, back to family feuding. It is such a beautiful thing. So we were talking about these people who always want to come and always want to bring up the exact same thing all the time. And they started by sarcastically laughing, right? And everybody looks going, here we go again. And that realm of disappointment and that sarcastic person who just can't let go will go, what? I mean, come on, you have to think it's funny. But you didn't bring it up because it was funny. You brought it up because you needed it mentioned again because you're unhealed. So if you're one of them, think about this. Why are we still unhealed? Especially if you're in a family now that it's over 40 years ago. Come on. Do you really want to cross over and have to come back and relive that? Who wants to do that? Right? So if the person is unwilling to balance or accept apologies, and think about it, 40 years ago, I can't tell you what I did 40 years ago. I can't tell you what came out of my mouth 40 years ago, unless it was a significant event for me. So if somebody is holding a grudge that is that old, forgive me when I tell them stop, because I'm not even the same person who I was then. So we have to stop this. Because as we evolve and as we mature, if I didn't recollect this as a trauma into my life, then I'd either A, did not see my own faults. I didn't see my own negative ways. Or was it something that you had to learn and you think you got blindsided? Like, we're going to have to discuss this because there is no way out besides the truth. And if the truth of an event, if you are truly innocent of mind and you are truly have no idea that what you have done affected somebody, then just, I am so sorry on my part because that was not the intention, or I can't imagine that I wanted to hurt you at that moment, especially being so young, right? So we have to take these things into consideration. Please know that normally the frontal lobe, which is this area here of the brain, normally is not matured until 25 in females and 27 in males. Sometimes it can go even longer, especially of those who partake in recreational substances. It can take just a little bit longer. So that's why we don't like recreational substances or beverages in the hands of those under that age, which, I understand. I understand it. But yet, man, if I'm going to give up my life at 18 years old and I'm going to go into the military, I think I should be allowed to try some adult recreational things, right? Because that's just kind of how I felt. Maybe that's how you felt. I don't know. But if I wanted to, I should be able to, right? Free world, so they say. Freedom, so they say. But you also have the freedom. If you are that angry, you have that right to hold on to those grudges. But why? So you could come at every family reunion and have a bad time or make everybody else's life bad? That's not what this is about. It can't be about that. Because why would you even bother to come to just ruin, if it's about your mom, you just want to ruin her day, this beautiful day that we honor? Because without a mother, I hate to tell you, you're not here. You weren't here. You need both, right? You need both. It's the etiquettes and how much trauma as a child we go through. When we go through events as a child, then we call them inner child trauma. When we have inner child trauma, these family feuds are a major part. If you grew up in a household where your parents, one or both, sat and yelled at decibels, then you are conditioned to that energy. So somebody yelling at those decibels, you will walk away, you'll ignore, you'll be like, no big deal. Yeah, no big deal. It is a big deal because that is emotionally trapped trauma. And so when we have emotionally trapped traumas, we actually look for people in our circle as we grow and as we developed with that same energy. Why? Because you already know it. It's not new. And new energy can sometimes be the most scariest energy out there when it's new energy, because you don't know how to navigate. At least with the tyrant screaming at you, you knew how to navigate those lines. You knew, stay away. As a child, you became unaware of, oh, here we are. Okay, this is where I need to be, right? Stay out of the line of fire as a child. You only had to get caught in that and conditioned to get caught in that once or twice before, your survival instinct of your own ego is like, get the hell out of here, right? Because mom or dad or grams or auntie, uncle, somebody's flying off. Somebody had way too much to drink. Somebody has way too much anger. Somebody has can't get over their depressional state. Somebody, whatever their reasoning, there could be a bajillion reasons. The point I'm trying to make is you now became that conditioned child to understand that energy, good, bad, and different. You learned how to navigate it because you conditioned yourself how to navigate through that. Don't be surprised that your friends that you bring into your realm when you leave home, you have one who act exactly as your home. And you may not have just one. You may have several. You may be married to it. Because it is a known pattern energy and you are conditioned to know that. So that's a very hard. You ask about people who there was a lot of abuse I saw at these Mother's Day things online, which is what prompted me to do this show. There's just so many people who have these trauma lines, and they know they have them, and they know they're repetitive, but I don't know if they know how to get out of that. I don't know if they realize that they're not living in the 60s or the 80s. So going back to the table and saying, can we talk, is a little bit different. Sometimes we hope and pray as a child that our family allows us to speak. Because if not, you're thwarting that will. I was one of those. I always had to say something. I always had, can I say one more thing? It used to, and my dad, he's so angry. Like, he was such an authoritative figure, and he would have that blood vessel vein and he'd be shaking his hand. Can I just say one more thing? That, as a parent, that is the child. Why? And the parent is because. Why? Because the parent doesn't have a positive thing to say, then because is as at this moment, we have to do it this way. I have to do it this way. Right? And that's how it's going to be. And maybe later we can discuss this again. But don't shut your child out. Just tell them, for the peace and the well-being for right now, let's not ask why. Maybe we can ascertain the subject a little bit later. Maybe a little bit why. Because it's not good right now. Why? Because it will upset people and it will hurt people and they'll start to cry. Answer the child that way. Right? Don't just say, because I said so, and end the story and crack it in the ass. Right? Because you might have a little Cappy on your hands who has a lot of will. And that crack in the ass of the whys and the functions of is really important to some of those kids. So I understand that in talking of truth to a child and having the, what comes out of the mouth of babes is hard. But give them a reasonable saying, maybe later, but as of right now, the answer is no, because I'm going to make people cry. They understand those words. And we don't want people to cry because we love them. And sometimes and you can go on. Sometimes people do not so many nice things. Not that we're judging them. It's just that talking about it is causing, yet again, to not have that nice feeling. So it's our words and tones that back into our poor child, right? Our inner child. Most adults today who are with some type of depression, sadness, anxiety, stress, these are inner child traumas, believe it or not. Most of these are caused by inner child when you bring them in and the parent allows you to engulf in those. Even hardly where you have a parent who tries hard and sends you to go get help, they notice it. And at that point, then we have to ask, how many fears did you bring with you? Let's clear some of these fears immediately, because this is where I always talk about having a physical and a metaphysical counselor. Because if you just work on one side, how one-sided, right? How balanced is that? But if you can bring all your sides, mind, body, and soul all together, what a creation of Hara have you created in yourself. When we can learn to breathe and let it go. It's funny. Yesterday, when I was watching, again, Big Bang, because I just absolutely love it. I'll watch it and watch it and watch it because it's a show to help me learn how to balance with people who are handicapped, but handicapped in a way where they're so gifted they can't see emotion. They can't understand that. So that is great, because sometimes in my life, I may not have had those patients. Today I would. But I look at that as a learning lesson as well. And yesterday, it was funny because Sheldon was very upset with Penny says, well, let's just practice. Some people think of holding a pen in your hand and then letting it go. And of course, his sarcasm and his demeanor, that he's just like, he goes, it was my favorite pen. I just had, and she's like, okay, stay focused. You have to come in. But then he told her a secret that would really upset her. And he goes, well, hold your pen. And she couldn't. So she wanted to give somebody a practicing tip that they didn't use themselves. Yes. And there it is again. It is easier said than done. Easier said than done. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, so that technique might not work for one person and it might work for another. You never know what techniques. Remember, I don't know what episode it was, but I had told everybody, listen, go back and listen to the episode where we talk about having words. Every time you get a trigger word where it's going to get your anger or it's going to give you the PTSD, or find those triggers and get the list of diversions, right? Bring that list of diversions and start talking about it so you can immediately go to those lists and you can immediately change the subject. Talk about fishing. Hey, I heard trout season just opened. Talk about hunting. Hey, it's spring gobbler. Talk about vacationing. Yeah, my family wants to go on fairway travel. They want to take a cruise. Talk about anything you want. Well, my kids want to go to a water park. Anything. Hey, how's the grass? Man, those dandelions, you can't even get rid of them. I don't care what you talk about. Just make a list of subjects you like to talk about so you have them ready to divert whatever the conversation is going on. And if people love you and your family, they'll understand what you're doing. And they'll follow suit. If you have somebody who wants to keep coming back, even though you try to divert the situation, then it is at that point you can just either remove yourself, because that is probably the easiest thing to do. Remove yourself from that complete energy. Either say you're going to the bathroom or you're getting a refill or something, and completely just have another conversation with somebody else, start another conversation somewhere else after you come out of the bathroom or whatever it is. If it continues and it persists, even after you leave that energy to go to the other side to try to regroup, then it is at that point you don't want strike three. You can either nicely take them outside and say, I can choose to walk away, but I'm going to tell you, whatever you are very angry at, whatever scenario has played out every time we're here in your mind, I am extremely sorry for my actions, for how I treated you, whatever I said. The words, I am sorry for my part, will go such a long way. And you can finally stop this feud, saying you are no longer that person. I understand, Father, forgive me because I had lost my way. Now, I understand forgiving and forgetting are two different things, but you got to let it play out. Because if all they were looking for was that honoring, and all they were looking for was that moment of time that it may have not been significant. There's numerous times that I talk with my brothers and sisters and they remember something. I don't even have an inkling of that memory. I'm like, and I was there? Are you sure I was there? But it had no significant role in my life. Even though I was there, had nothing to do with me. So they're trying to figure out, do you remember this, and how I would perceive it in today. But I can't even perceive it because I don't remember it, because there was no learning life lesson for me. Do you understand that too? Okay. Because sometimes that is like, wait, what are we doing? And we have to backtrack ourselves. And here we are backtracking again to something that happened within. A commonality, right? My brothers and sisters we were always hackling as children. We were always hackling one another. We were always, biting, either I was a tattletale or, she was biased and he was just ugly and rough and whatever it may have been. Right? I mean, thinking back as a child for myself, I'm like, oh yeah, we had some pulling hair knockout fights. Are you talking about 60s and 70s? Yeah. Today I'm like, now why? Where did that stem from? The harshness, maybe, of an authoritative father? I don't know. Maybe it was the peer pressure and daycare. Could have been, because I had nannies. I didn't really go to daycare. So where did that stem from? I don't know. Ancient minds, right? You have to think back. But when some of the stories come back and you can't even place yourself there, then you go, just tell me your side. It's okay that I don't remember it. Maybe if you tell me your side, something will jar, or they'll finally get to the file cabinet inside that brain somewhere where they're like, oh my gosh, let's pull those cobwebs off, because something might then trigger a remembrance. So if they're coming to you and you don't even have an idea, don't roll up your face going, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. No, saying fascinating. That would be a better word, right? Knowing that they're being heard. The word's fascinating. This is fascinating. I don't remember this, but keep going, because somehow it's going to trigger. Hopefully it will trigger a memory. What a life lesson we had to go through, huh? And then that's how you keep it. But don't attack them, because the more that you attack is the angery. Man, is that a word? Angery? I don't know if it's a word, but we're going to angrily be a prude and sit in the corner and pout for 40 plus years. I remember my grandmother, till the day she died, there was an ugly, ugly argument that happened within my grandfather, his side of the family. And now that I think about this family feud, I think about my grandmother and her reactions when we would go to reunion. And always with a stern upper lip. And she goes, I will give them a knuckle sandwich. I don't even want to hear from them. Like, I remember that now as a kid. Isn't that funny? So you start talking about stuff just like, somebody's remembrance. And all of a sudden, when you start talking about, things come back in, right? My brother loves to throw that when I was younger, he tells people I smashed him in the head with a hammer. Well, that really wasn't true. It was a rubber mallet. Let's start there. And I remember doing it. I remember let's just kind of put things in perspective though, right? I just didn't have no peace of mind. No, I calculated how I was going to hurt him. I calculated it as a child because every day he would come home from kindergarten he had to be in elementary. So he was probably 4th grade by this point. I'd say he was probably 4th grade. Anyway, but I wasn't. I was the kindergarten. I was the 5-year-old. And a 400-pound cast iron radiator fell on me. And it pretty much broke the whole right side of my body. So I was pretty much in these big body casts and splints and everything else and laid on a couch for the longest time. So my grandparents or my nannies or somebody would turn the station or turn the channel for me to whatever I was watching, laying there. And religiously in the middle of Hachi Malachi, my favorite little show that always comes on at 3 o'clock, my brother would then come in from school and decide that we needed to watch Acme. And he would turn the dial because we only had 13, a dial with 13 on it. Oh, you or your father's remote control at that age. And he would come and turn my station. You're like, hey, why are you turning my station? But as a child sitting there in a body cast, there's really nothing you can do. Not too much anyway. The other thing that my beautiful brother loves to talk about is, again, calculating on this hammer hit. I planned, because I got better and better and better. And the last straw for Christmas, you could see I was still, for Christmas, I got this beautiful leather, little tiny rocking chair. I was so happy that I had a chair my size. I could sit by the TV and I really didn't have to move too far. And I was so thrilled. My brother, brand new, and I'm still now like in semi-cast because it was just a long time healing there. He would dump me off my rocket. He would tip it completely backwards so I'd slide out. Now, see, I'm laughing because today I can understand the humor of the testosterone of my brother. I can understand this. So, of course, he tips over my chair. I slide out. He brings it back. He sits in my beautiful leather rocking chair that I wanted for Christmas. And Christmas and my birthday are one and the same. And I got it. Do you know that every single time we have to talk about this? Because it was to the point going, I'm done. And I told him and I forewarned him. I go, one day I'm going to beat the crap out of you. And I said it. I go, one day I'm going to beat your ass. One day I'm going to beat you. One day you watch. And it's funny because the parents are like, one day she's going to kick your ass. One day you watch it. One day you watch. Right? I love it when the parents get involved and they emphasize that energy wish. No, I don't. No, I don't. My parents should have put a stop to it one time, but I don't know if my brother was going to be copacetic enough to, it would just have to play out the way it did. But long and the short, so I was getting a little bit better, and I was getting to be able to be mobilized. And I was, the more I got healed was the more my brother was just really amping my style, because it was months and months and months of the same treatment. Months. And I'm sure my parents were pretty sick of this shenanigan as well. So one day I saw my dad. He loved wood. He would create and he would build things all the time. And he always had the rubber mallet, so he did mark the woods. And I pity my parents because what I'm about to say, they probably were like, "Who are you? Like, where'd you come from?" But I saw the metal. I saw that rubber mallet, and I put it all the way by the couch. So it was the TV, then it was my little chair, and then it was the couch. That's how the room was set up. So I put it by the couch, but I was going to sit in the chair, and I was watching the time. Here I come, Hachi Malachi, 3 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock, I hear the school bells going off in the town. They always rang the bells. So I knew it was within 15 minutes this man was going to be here. And my heart was pounding. Crazy, crazy pounding. Crazy. And yes, little Miss Mary Jo decides today was the day. Today was the day that her I am beautiful light presence was going to go very dark and give an equal power thump of a Knights Templar saying, "Are we good?" Yeah. The pain of being in cast that he would do that hurt. But as a child, he couldn't see it. But it's funny. He remembers it all well, because not only did he get hit in the head with a rubber mallet, which he tipped my chair. So there's the story. He tipped my chair. I said, okay. At this point, I didn't even see. Now he should have known, because I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't counter. I just got up. So after how many months of him doing this, and I would counter and scream, and we would get into arguments and throw pillows and throw whatever. Couldn't throw too much. I was in cast. It was a pretty unfair battle. Yeah. I went back to the couch, right where my beautiful rubber mallet to the side was. And it was very calculating as a child, I admit it. Survival tactics of a child in a family feud. How is that child going to respond? Well, this child, because we want to watch the Roadrunner all the time and Coyote, Wild Coyote, those big hammers, even though they hit on the head, they always got up and went again. So as a child, can you imagine how I thought as a child? I was going to hammer him till his ass down. I know he's going to get back up, because they always do. Look, the Roadrunner and Coyote always get back up. Even with animals falling on their heads, they get back up. What a disbelief for a child. What are you talking about? Really? You killed him by doing that? Anyhow. So that's what it was. I went there. He started snickering his comments. He started getting gross in his Acme Roadrunner cartoon. And I made one dart with my hammer, and I went, hit him right here on the side of the head. And I ran like hell to my dad's International Scout, where he was outside. And of course, my brother comes hauling ass, ready to beat me. Family feud, here we are. And I go outside, and I look at my dad, and I said, he's going to hurt me, he's going to hurt me, he's going to hurt me. And my dad goes, he better not. If I ever see any boy touch a girl or hit a girl, you have a price to pay. My father was very much a very stern, authoritative figure in our family. And you were going to listen, or you were going to get cracked. So, of course, my brother comes out saying how I hit him. And so I looked at my dad, and when I know I had tears because I scared of my dad, and I says, you don't understand. You don't understand. Every day for the last how many months, he would tip me out of my chair. He would come in and change my channel, and he would hurt my bones because when he tipped the chair, he would hurt the brakes. My dad was furious that he didn't know that this was going on for months. So when my brother told him that I cracked him in the head with a mallet, my dad looked at me with these big eyes, and he grabbed me by the hair, and he goes, we are not ever hitting anybody with a mallet. Do you understand me? And I said, yes. Like crying, obviously. And my brother, he goes, bend down, touch those ankles, boy. And we still talk about this every time. And I was like, you still don't see the balance. How can you not see the balance? How come you thought every day with a broken bone that you would do that? There was no pain that you, even today, when you're 60, you don't see that as pain. Huh. I healed it because now he has his son, whose son just graduated, love him to death, Palmer. But Palmer, when he comes sees me, he talks about cracking because he's learned that sarcastic trait from his father. So it's family. Family feuds represent family pattern. And some people go through it, and then some people adhere and they stick with the same energy, or they stick with the same pattern. So when you sit in the same energy or the same pattern, it becomes more of an issue within the family instead of dissolving this issue. My father thought this is over, but it wasn't over for the scars of my brother. And it wasn't over for the scars of me until I had to heal it. So walking an inner child trauma line, which again, that's chakra 2 through going to Kim's, you get to walk that inner child trauma line. And when that happens, there's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot to be happy for, because you're letting go of stuff that has compiled and you're bringing it with you in a unhealed pattern as an adult. And now we have family feuding because we can't let something go. Am I remorseful today? Yeah. I should never have laid hands on anybody. It should have been brought to attention at the dinner table or brought to attention in a different way instead of me trying to bear him. Now his healing is, who the hell was I at this age to be that authoritative and that relentless and that ugly? Has he stepped into that in himself? It's on him. I can't control somebody's mind, nor can you. You cannot control the free will of how somebody is, but you do have it to clear within your mind and tell your truth and your story and understand where you went wrong. Understand that that power that you thought was so controlling was also that power to destroy something within you. Now, that being said, we are going to go to another oldie but goodie. It's called Once Was by Logan Bath. And come back here, right here, mbradio.us, and we will catch up and we'll see how much further in Family Feud fun we can find. Here we go.
wonderful to see you again. You've not shown your face around here since the last time I was in too deep. Now I've been struggling to sleep, and I have to blame that on what I have created. Always with women or drinks, some repetition of things, and that's a tired old cliche, but that does not mean that it ain't the truth. 'Cause I've been absent from you, and I've never felt less careful. Need my father, my mother, even my brother to say, you gotta get your act together, do not rewrite the days. You can still be productive, you know, without all the hate. Just need to remember who you once were. And I once was quick on the draw, and I once did admit all my flaws. I once was an honest man, and I held your hand when you had to bed. And I once was fresh like the sand. My head moved steady, honey, so did my hands. I once was blessed and true till the day that I lost you. Goodbye meaning, I've been searching too hard to find you now, like some bone in the yard. And I'll keep digging, but only when I have the time, 'cause this world's been moving quickly, too much rhythm and rhyme. And sometimes you just gotta do what makes you feel good. And remember all those nights that you still understood how to be free, how to answer to no one, how to trust like a lover, how to lie like a son. You say this world has got you down, well honey, welcome to the club. I can hardly save enough money to go and see those I love, and we've all but found it, but we're still out of touch. I know we've lost hope of you, baby, but I hope not too much, 'cause we once were thicker than thieves, and we once were so much easier to please. And we once were alive on the tracks when the wheels came down. You know, I had your back. And we once were younger than now, and we once were all still just plotting it out. And we once ran circles round squares just for fun. We were louder then before we gave up. My voice was something other than that. I once was walking the line, settling down, loving and trying. And I once was bringing it out, and I held on tight when you were around. I once was back home in blues, kissed my shadow and I came through. And I once was letting it loose, and I thought of you, and I thought of truth. I once was less scared of time, and I had yours, and you had mine.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
That was Logan Vath. We once was. Thank you so much. What beautiful words that we have to remember, right? Again, we heal every day. When we can say, I am better today than I was yesterday, then it is a beautiful, glorious day. And no matter what aspects that we have, when you wake up and you open up your eyes, you are blessed to be here. You are blessed to have yet one more day to say thank you, to say I'm sorry, to bridge waters that are very, very rough, and know that you can make a conscious, positive decision to do the right thing instead of having the egoic temperament of screw that, I'm not doing it, I don't give a shit, or walk away, or have anger and resentment issues of our heart that just rip away, makes us a lower vibrational person. So think about when you sit back and you are that angry with somebody, you realize it's holding you back being that angry. You have to solve it. You can't just say, no, I'm letting it go, it's on him. Not everything's on everybody either. Let's like face a fact there, because a lot of people think that just because you don't feel as resented as that other person in the family doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to absorb that energy. So the best thing is a unit with a family. Always have it balanced. Can't have it your way, neither can they. It has to come in the middle. So if we say, listen, somebody says, oh, I'm feeling for steak. And the other person goes, I don't really care for steak. No problem. Have a surf and turf. Have a surf and turf, but you're going to get the same way. Instead, but know that going in. It's okay, right? Or the next day says, okay, well, tomorrow we'll have your chicken. If you can't do a surf and turf, or you can't do, a different meat. To me, I think about food fighting, food feuding is silly. Because in reality, when somebody says they're starving and they've already eaten 6 hours ago, you're not starving. Oh, no, you don't. If you have spots in your head because you have diabetes or you have low blood sugar, you better regulate it, because the only thing you're doing as you keep eating is you keep having these issues, because you're feeding into the disease. So let's balance that disease, because a normal body can go weeks without food. Can't go weeks without drinking water. Water. Say that again. Water. Can't go. So I find it funny when people say, oh, I have a headache because I didn't eat, my sugar's down, my this or that. If your sugar is that far down because you didn't eat in 6 hours, we need to figure it out. We need to find a doctor. We need to figure that something out. Because in reality, you're not starving. It is the mind controlling you. So, and people go, oh, my stomach's growling, I'm hungry. No, your stomach's growling because it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and it's pushing whatever acids, or it's pushing whatever it is where it needs to go. Does that make sense? Okay. So these are all different ways, different ideologies anyway, of finding a balance, right? I think that if your family is a competitive family, then game night is fun, right? If they're competitive enough, to have good sportsman type attitude, right? Not being mad. Do you have one of those in the family where every time that we play a game, they're always pissed off? They're always angry. Well, so we're not going to play these games with them because they're always angry in these games. Games are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be a communicable effort, unless you're playing cards, of course, and it's all on you, and that could be fine. But okay, let's look at, here you go. I love it when people go, oh yeah, we get together at my mom's, we play poker. So it's a tradition. So if everybody can get together and play poker, if somebody is not financial just to throw money out, are we going to really belittle them? Are we going to put them down? Are we going to hurt their feelings because they don't want to gamble their money away? Because to them right now, every dollar counts. Every cent counts. So remember that when you're asking people to come, right? And it's a double-edged sword, because you want people to come, you want people to be festive and whatever, but then they have an obligation that they have to bring something or buy something. And then they won't show up. Yeah. I was at I think it was a bridal shower. Yeah, it was a bridal shower. And nobody was allowed to bring a gift to the bridal shower because they knew there was people that they wanted to celebrate, but they didn't have the money. They honored it. So I can show, but I feel bad because I'm not going to come in with a gift or a card. So you know what that beautiful bride did? Instead of being a bridezilla, she had everybody. She says, listen, no gifts, no cards. If you're going to give me a card, put it in the mail. If you're going to buy a gift off any of the registries, just have it delivered to the house because that's where it has to go. And she emphasized no gifts, no cards will be brought to the bridal shower. This is just an honor. Now, in tradition, if you don't know, bridal showers were meant to get some of the home good registries for a new husband and wife. And that's where it came from, that bridal registry. Because you had two chances to help your beloved one who was getting married fulfill their house with home goods. So that's an old tradition. Some people believe in that. Some people are lived together so long they already have home goods, and they're like, I don't really. That's not what I want. So in that aspect, if you want to help contribute to my honeymoon, here you go. Or there's something major that you want to buy for your home as a wedding gift. Ask them all to contribute to that. $1 is acceptable for some. Remember, don't exclude people. Balance with them. Balance with everybody. If you want people to celebrate your happiness and you want that happiness within the family, whether it's a holiday, whether it's a family's vacation, a family's birthday, whether it's gathering for like a Mother's Day or a Father's Day or Grandparents' Day, whatever, do yourself a favor. Balance with everybody, knowing that maybe some people in your family don't have the success as you do. Maybe some people in the family don't have emotional attitude that you do. Maybe some people in your family are very emotionally disturbed in group settings. Maybe it frightens them from maybe something from inner child trauma they had. Maybe they had to go and they had to ascertain, family gatherings, and maybe there was trauma every time they went to those. They don't want to do that. So know when you bring your significant other or spouse into the realm of family energy, they might have their own trauma line that you don't know about, and that your family could trigger it. Be aware. That's the whole thing. You have to become aware. If you don't become aware of people's emotions, then it kind of plays hard. It plays havoc. And not only your relationship with that significant other, within the dynamic of the family. Look at the monarch right now. Oof. The monarch right now is just wild. The secrets, right? For a second, I thought that was the Italian family. Shove it underneath the carpet. Put it underneath the mattress. Shove it somewhere, right? I love to see people who you walk into their house. It's almost like digging up an old skeleton because their house is immaculate order. So it's tight, right? Almost too tight. And you're like, no. So next thing you know, you're sitting there and they go to open up their pantry door or their closet door, or whatever doors we're doing, playing games or whatever. And it is head to toe. It's just stuff. Like shoved in. No organization, no nothing. So is there truly chaos in this house, or is there a balance? Perception is a hell of a thing, because it's the perception which causes the chaos for somebody else. So if my everyday is clean and it's tight and it's all kept up, they say it allows for a clear mind. Clutter reacts differently. So when you have too much clutter in your house, you have trapped energy. You have trapped things that then you can't focus. But then you have the person who has a tight house, but all their drawers and cabinets are filled. Now where do we go? What do we do? How do we react? I'm learning this. This is one of the things that I'm beginning to learn. I was getting angry with everything that was being broke in this move. And I kept, MJ, let it go. MJ, forgiveness. MJ, it's materialistic goods. Let it go. It's hard because you've gotten trained and you're looking at it going, I spent a lot of money in that, or that was a gift. And then you get the emotion of the gift. And that was the hardest thing for me. Even my friend she's a counselor, she's a psychologist, and I love her. And, she's like, it's okay to be mad at the movie company. I go, I understand, but I really don't want to be mad. I want, if it starts to add up, then at some point, yeah, you owe me some type of back pay or money's back. And that's where I would like to have it balanced. But some of these things are such memories that I would never be able to get them back. Most of the things in my Cracker Barrel type of home that I like to live in on my walls are memories. Every time I look at a picture on my wall or an ornament or a decor, it is bringing back a memory. I don't know if I've randomly, I'm sure there is, randomly just going by. But I have a lot of beautiful things from the hunting and fishing industry that are priceless. So how do I put a value on those things? It's kind of hard, right? That inner side of me wants to be angry. And the inner side of my family wants to be angry. My family, and I'm like, but that's unhealedness. It was an accident. And then, of course, there's the rebuttal and the sarcasm. It's not an accident. And then I have to continue with trying to find a flip pattern for me to have a conscious, positive awareness to this event. I have to find it. My awareness now is, why am I attached to materialistic goods? That is not a good place for me to be in my vibration. We are not to be attached. So let's figure that part out. Well, one of the things is that I had to work so hard for the money and I had to deal with so much, especially between think of the time frame, 80s and 90s. Women weren't really so accepted within the military realms. You still had a lot of backlash. And then to move into the fishing and hunting industry, what? Yeah, that was rough. These were rough, energetic, male energy, thwarting patterns, which, thank gosh, at that time, I had more male energy in everything that I have done because I didn't learn how to balance that constant tomboy within me. Again, your parents are, as they bring you up, is kind of how your DNA is also going to transfer. So my father, being very athletic, was always pushing into athletics and to be part of my dad's realm, right? As the third child, I wanted then to play basketball with my brother. I wanted to play softball because I could play hardball. I tried. I went for t-ball, and then because I was a female, I could no longer play the t-ball, baseball. I had to get into softball with the girls. So the field hockey. I remember playing basketball, field hockey. I was hurdling. I wanted to play football, and that's where my dad went, no, you are not. And he was a head football coach, and he was also a radio sports announcer. So we were heavily into sports. And so that made me love the outdoors. I loved fishing and hunting as I grew up. I loved clay shooting. That is things that I truly like to do. I like to hear the word pull. And I love to have that challenge, that competition within. And I'm okay if I lose. And that's the good thing. Because I'm like, well, I got to better my skills. I got to do something, right? It's all about learning and practicing. So, yeah. And then when I look at the accomplishments in my own life and how my family raised me for these accomplishments, then I honor and I thank. See, not everything can be a family feud. It can be a family feud into the highest honor. Can you imagine having a child go in and you have them since, like, I can't remember what they call the midget leagues. I don't think they call it the midget leagues anymore, but it's the children who are 5 and 6 playing football, those boys. And they're the cutest thing. They're cutest pie. It's kind of like those little 5 and 6 ballerinas, right? You get these ballerinas and your child, and they're cute as a button, right? And you just want to smile. It's kind of like having a little puppy. And you love how they just wiggle and waggle, right? And you are in awe, just in because they're so cute, they're so fluffy, and these kids are so cute. Even if they're out of step, they're still cute, and you're honoring these babies. Now you've honored them from that, and now they work their way all the way through school, and you diligently are taking them to lessons, and you're diligently getting them stronger and more active to that sport. Wow, now they become professionals. Can you imagine the parents? And I know a couple of them. The parents are just over the moon. My father was instrumental with Senator Dave McCormick. He has a book out, and it talks about the people in your life who made a difference. There's always somebody. And in Senator Dave McCormick's book, I just had a blank, maybe on commercial, I'll get the book and you'll see it. I'll put it up. I can't remember the name. It's brand new. Him and his wife, Dina, put it out. And they put it out during COVID. They've been on every news. They're talking about this book. And it talks about people in your life who make a difference. Some of the hardest people that I had in my life created who I am today. And then once they created who I was, I had to understand if I followed a condition pattern by ego, and if it was a good balanced pattern that I was taught. So then it was my turn to be that figure of authority for my own kids. And now my own kids who didn't appreciate my rules, didn't appreciate some of the things. And now you look back and you giggle, you smile, and you're like, yeah, they didn't like my rules because nobody else had to follow those. The rest of the kids in school didn't have to follow them. And my authoritativeness in my head of me growing up, it was my house. My rules. You don't like it, get out. I became my dad. And at that point, I understood why he wanted these rules. I understood for the first time in my life why, as a great parent and as a great mentor, he was. Family feuds, yep. My dad was very outspoken. Hello. My dad never backed down to a task that he didn't think he could fulfill. He's always said, in his words, it was never, ever about a competition. It was always about doing the right, respectable, humanitarian thing. Not just to your own family, to everybody. So we have to go to break. But before we go to break, all who is listening, here's something really fun. I want you, don't change your mind, and I don't want you to become conscious now. I just want you to become aware, but in a form of, wow. If you get up from a seat, whether it's a desk, a dining room table, a bar, stool, Do you push that chair in or do you leave it out? We'll figure out the answers when we get back. Think about it. Don't force it. Think about it. Good morning, Miss Terry. Miss Terry Lynch, my cohort. Yes, today is a very memorable day for my husband and I. So I will not be on Behind the Headlines tonight with them. I have to stay tuned. They will be on at 7 if they come on. So we will figure that out. So we're going to go down to my fave. Third class. These are all my faves. I know I say my faves, but third class, Into the Light. You know, love this song. Be right back. I'm MJ here on the World of Conscious Positive Thinking, and you are listening to the MBRadio.us station where veterans always get to have a voice. Let's go.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.us.
That was Third Class, Walk Into the Light. I think it's just called Into the Light, but when you sing it, it's Walk Into the Light. And I love it. I love it. It gives that will of acceptance of the highest point of energy. And it makes you just feel happy. It makes you feel good. Even with a full moon, folks, even with a full moon. So before we left, I asked you, do you push your chair in? Anytime. Do you get from a desk, do you push your chair in? Think about it. I don't want anybody to answer. Talking about family feuds and talking about how to read people. Do you realize that that little small task, seemingly insignificant for most, is not? Why? Well, if I had bigger thumbs, I would have not cleared that screen. And I hear my teacher behind me going, I tell you to print everything out because anything on these. Oh, gosh. Let's try to find it. Oh. Okay. I may not be able to bring this beautiful thing to you today. So it was on Google. And if you see it, it says, people who always push in their chair, these are 8 unique traits of just that one small move. I can't find it because now it's coming to now telling me that it's 7 unique traits for somebody holding a door for you. So traits. When they talk about traits, this is something that my brother always opens up the car door, whether it's for my mom, for me, he was taught that by my dad. There's a trait, right? Because chivalry to my brother is not dead. And even though he respects women, that's why he wants to do it. I respect you enough to honor you. I want to open up your door. So don't take it about a woman's movement, people out there, or Me Too movement. I don't like it. Chivalry is a sign of compassion, sign of love. It's also a sign that maybe the etiquettes that you were born up and raised into have long been forgotten if they're not teaching this. Right? It's respect. Right? How many women can turn around with the same respect and open up your car door for your own husband? It's the respect. You flip that pattern. You want to talk about a Me Too movement, so do the chivalry thing back and honor him as well. Out of the clear blue. Try it. Just try it. So here, let me get that door for you. And they'll be like, ugh. And then all of a sudden, watch their ego's going to go, Say, no. I just want you to know I love you. It's just want to get it for you. One small act of kindness. Somebody who needs a homeless who needs, is a quarter too much for you? $1? That quarter might make that full $1 that they need to get something. Maybe 3 other people gave them a quarter. Any act of kindness that you can have within a family to balance a situation, then you do it. Now, I'm not telling you to come in full board and have gifts for everybody when you come in. I'm not telling you to do that either, because that's just, now you're buying your way, and there's a whole other show about that. Right? I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you out of the act of kindness to tell them how beautiful they look. Out of act of kindness, you like their shirt, their shoes. What did they do to their hair? Act of kindness. Hey, I like that beard you got growing there, right? What made you decide to grow that? Acting of kindness, finding something. Hey, I saw you got a new car. Hey, I saw that you moved. Hey, how's it going? How's the new job? Acts of kindness. Sometimes when you talk with people and you don't know what to say, ask, how's the job going? Anything new? And let them talk. Saves you from talking, right? All you got to do is sit there and smile and maybe have a glass of wine or a glass of water or whatever you want, right? Casual conversation that has no bearing. Now, yes, it is plausible. It is plausible that you can have a conversation on your mementos, and let's just say, oh, how's work going? And they didn't want to tell anybody they just got fired yesterday. Yeah, it can backfire. I get that. And I do get that. Well, guess what? You look at that now as the person who assisted them in telling people and making them talk about it, because talking is therapy. I turned the fan on, folks, because I'm hot now. It's going to blow the air in my face. So, yeah. Now what? Now what happens? Well, you can smile and say, I'm honored to sit here to help you talk it out. I'm sorry if it was not at the most appropriate time, but I'm glad we brought it to light so that we can help you heal. We can help you find something. You twist it immediately. Help them through your family, right? Not to talk going, oh, here they got fired. Well, okay, why are you doing that? See, there's the ego. Here's another one, or you want to fulfill the prophecy, so you keep talking about how bad of a person the person is in the family, that they're always losing their job. Oh, there's just going to be another one. No, stop it. Time out. That's an old pattern, an old belief, and you wonder why you have family feud, because it's starting with you. The judgment, the ego. We don't want that. We got to remove that crap from our demeanors. I'm just as guilty. I find myself shoving my foot in my mouth, right? Because you want to go, the proverbial, of course, which, of course. Of course means sarcasm. Of course means, of course, sarcastically, like, of course you're going to do that. You always do that. Or of course you're going to read that because this is the kind of things you read. Well, if you know it's a habitual pattern, stop saying, of course, and help them. Have you become aware that this is now happening? Is there a connection? Is there a pattern going within this? What do you perceive that could be going wrong? Are we late? Let's try to fix it, so the next job that you get, maybe we can help try to fix that pattern, because there's definitely a pattern. There's definitely something. Maybe see an energist to see if there is something, blocking. It's very possible, blocking of energy, because you're not paying attention. You're not seeing it. You're not learning your life lesson, which is why you keep learning it and patterning it, because you keep teaching the wrong thing, or you keep going down a proverbial conditioned mind pattern. And you're like, oh my God, here we are again. Lost my job again. Okay. Is it your mouth? Is it your arrival? Is it your input? Are you on your phone? Are you causing chaos within the employees by garbage talking and gossiping? Throwing your beliefs on others? Having too much judgment and ego? Why are you constantly getting fired? Like, these are the questions you want to ask. Why do you think this is happening? Do you think there's a pattern? There's a pattern here. But not do you think, it's obvious there's a pattern. What's going on? Did you learn what you need to learn so they are moving you along? Life purpose, soul purpose? Has to be something. But be optimistic. Don't sit there with that frown face, or what I loved being dubbed, which is the bitch face, and don't do it. Have a, let's positive outlook, but not a ha-ha giggle outlook. Not a very good actor, but that look where it's like, we're going to help you. Nod your head, that positive little smile, right? We're going to help you. Promise. We're going to get through this. Let's get through this. Let's get you a steady job. And let's get you the job of your dreams. Let's go. That's how we stopped arguments in the family. This is how we need to talk to one another in the family. Positive reinforcement, positive communication. And when we have these things, there's no other way around it. Everybody must and has to get along. And if they're not getting along in a positive frame of mind, they really need to talk it out. Ask them, say, what is upsetting you? What are you remembering? What is this triggering? Where is this energy? Yep. And there's probably going to be somebody in the family going, don't give me your hoo-ha crap. And when somebody does that, I don't care what denomination you are, when somebody is that ugly and wants to tell you, I don't need your spiritual shit, or I don't need your religional garbage, now you know, right? going, wow, they're really at a low vibration. They really are. For somebody to damn somebody else's religion or denomination, ego and judgment, it's the lowest form. How dare you think that you are some superior being over somebody else? And if that is that family dynamic, I know the Catholics have a hard time. The Catholics have a very, very hard time. And I grew up in a Catholic family, accepting an outsider. My grandmother, when I heard the story about my grandmother that I didn't know, how abusive the Italians were to her because she wasn't Catholic, that really hurt me. It hurt me because, number one, I didn't know about it. I love my grandmother. So I wanted to know who, because there's that Templar. Who do we need to balance? Who do we need to take our sword like a samurai? Who? Who is that? Why did they do that? I understand the era, the time, and it just hurt. It hurt to know how rough she had it. And I actually looked at her because she never let us know. Maybe she let her own kids know, or her kids knew. But I never knew. That was a story. Spend time, Mother's Day, my gosh, spend time with your mom, spend time with your dad, spend time with your grandparents. They're not around forever. And some of the stories that they want to tell right now, ask them. What fond memories do you have of Mother's Day? Ask them. As a child, how did you perceive Mother's Day? As a young adult, how did you perceive it? As a grandmother, how did you perceive it? As a great-grandmother now, how do you perceive it? How does Mother's Day transpire within the family? How do we transform that? How do we transmute that? How do we get rid of that lineage? It has to start at the top. And it has to start with communication and understanding and the will. Are we back naming those mind power centers again? Damn, we sure are. Miss Kim's coming on. And we're going to discuss how light therapy beyond Reiki is, and a little spliff and her focus and that, because what a game changer. It's a game changer for my dynamic in my own marriage. Game changer. It was hard. And they do say the more that you vibe up is the less people stay around you. It's not because they don't like you. They just can't understand you. They can't understand how you could just walk away from an incident or an event. They can't fathom it because they're not healed enough to. I tell people, as a victim of either somebody who got shot, raped, beat, as a victim, when you can say, Father, I forgive them, they have lost their way, but please forgive my part, you know you're healed. If you can actually muster those words, forgive my part, because we all play a part, and I don't care what stage, a beating, a rape, a stabbing, you played a part, whether it was the positive side for somebody to see the other side of light, or whether it was you truly have to learn that you either A, don't act like that, don't dress like that, don't speak like that, don't, right? And if you had that lesson, you couldn't learn it, maybe sometimes the hardest way, and you chose it. You chose it. My higher self chose it before I got here, and God created it as, yes, go ahead. These are your life learning lessons. So when people start blaming God when they get hurt, or blaming God, well, if there was a God, he would, that's the narcissist side. Blame somebody else for your disasters, for your own. Right? They can't see it. Atheists, they can't. Everything, you're God. They have no God. They do have a God. But forgive them, Father, because they have lost their way. So sometimes those words in a family situation can be very helpful as well. Forgive them, Father. They have lost their way. Remember those times that is crippling sometimes in a family to hear that one of your family units have either disobeyed the law, got themselves in trouble, something that would morally create or tip a family unit, right? There was a lot of pride within the family. And when somebody in the family did something really wrong and now they make headlines, you kind of want to breathe, right? And now you have their guilt. And then you have people who want to blame you for your people in your family. And you're sitting there going, that wasn't me. I would have never. That's not who I am. Have you ever noticed sometimes people in your family are oil and water? You even know where they were wrong. You're like, did I miss something? How is it that every word out of your mouth is a lie? And I was born in the same family, and I can't do it. Stuff to think about, family feuds. And it'll just get worse. It gets worse. The greed gets worse, especially if you start having a lot of very forward type 1 personality, right? And the spiritual matrix, when you have to look at the controller, and it becomes very difficult. But then you look at the hierarchy who created the controlling side of the family, and it's there. It's a trait. The only way to get rid of the trait is to heal why they have to have that authoritative figure aside. That is one of the best things. Why? There's the why, girl. Why? Why do we have to be controlling? Are we controlling so that we get it our way? Are we controlling because you feel that that's what you were meant to do? Are you controlling because you were conditioned to be the controller? Yeah, I don't know, because there's sometimes I look at personality traits like that, and I can see and understand exactly what they're talking about. How the people in my family and I start looking as a personality matrix trait or something about it. I'm like, wow, we all have it in one degree or another. So then it becomes a family ancestral line. And then when it becomes a family ancestral line, now we can sever those. And there's no more. You let it play out. And you allow divine to do its work. Father, Mother, God, help me in this situation. I don't want to hear about this anymore. Sometimes honoring the truth and hearing the truth is going to hurt somebody. Yes, that's true. So you have a philosophy. Well, I didn't want to hurt them. Okay, so you didn't want to hurt them, so now you lied to them, making it really worse because now they're in an ego's truth, which was a lie for an interpretational center to choose the wrong radio or path of life into going into a positive consciousness. You just elevated it to more of a negative unconsciousness because now they're chasing something that doesn't even exist. Does that make sense? I am very uncomfortable even telling white lies. I'm very uncomfortable even like surprise birthday parties. I'm very uncomfortable with it. I'd rather not be told anything. Not the day, not the thing. I'd rather just, well, I know the day because they'll tell me, hold it out, hold this day out. But I don't like to be in conversations. Like if I know it's a surprise, I will stay from a farthest conversation I can from that person. I'm just that bad. What comes out of my mouth is true, is my truth. How I see it, how I perceived it, how It's my interpretation and my perspective. And if somebody asks, I'm going to say it. And it might hurt. And I might be sitting there with somebody who's very solemn. Maybe they don't know that. Maybe they didn't know that about themselves. Maybe they needed to hear it. Maybe nobody wants to, to open up that freaking garbage can lid with the skeletons. Somebody has to. Or we'll never heal. We don't keep them inside. So assisted in healing somebody. I take great pleasure in it. I do. Because I found great pleasure in healing my own self and going through these courses and understanding the balance of every situation that I'm in and understanding the calmness within chaos. Understanding that black void is not just a void. It's a believable energy that even our quantum physics majors know about. So connecting the quantum physics to the spiritual side of life, it's an amazing thing. It's what everybody was waiting for in religions. Make the connection, but they won't admit it. Right? Because man didn't decide that. So that's what religion comes from man who created it. Whereas denominations comes from the belief within to know that the I am exists in all. And I love it. I go to church. I've gone to spiritual rallies. I've gone to Buddhist temples, Thai temples, Hindu temples. I love it. I've gone to so many Indian shaman culture circles in Guatemala and Belize, Panama, Ecuador, Peru. Like, they all believe in God. They all believe in that energetic high vibration. And then people say if you bring, there's more family feuding today than there has ever been in life because they took church out. I believe you took faith out because the churches all want you to write the word hope. It's not hope, it's faith. So when you turn your family dynamic, look inside of some of these beautiful peoples. How many words of hope do they have of hope written on their walls? If you're hoping, you have no faith. Because you have to have faith in order to believe it's going to come true. Or your will be done. You have to have faith, not hope. Hope's not a good word. Because when we hope that our family settles down, no, it is, I have faith that God is going to settle my family down. See the difference? Our words, our tones come back into every family feud pattern there is. Trigger words, how we do it, same thing. But for God's sakes, if you know your mom just wants peace, don't try to force her to go to a restaurant or a breakfast. Father's Day is coming. Okay, guys. You really think your father cares about gathering together and having a barbecue, which he's most of the time going to be the barbecue guy? Do you really think he wants that? And there are fathers who say, yes, I want that. That is my family. Or do you think there's a father who just wants to be left alone with a nice stogie and a nice drink, beautiful weather, maybe by in a fishing rod in his hand, maybe up in a tree stand, maybe taking pictures of wildlife, or maybe he's a runner and he just wants to go run. But he wants to be the runner and he understands that he can't be with the family, so now he's worrying about family pressure. Don't put that family pressure on him. Don't do it. That's not nice. It's his day. Good, bad, or indifferent, it's his day. And you're not going to change his day. Again, make your family a beautiful unit. Yep, there's ups and downs, but balance those ups and downs. Call the people out. Do you realize you always ask me to do this? Do you realize that you're very capable of doing this, but for some reason, I'm feeling like I am your slave and I don't want to feel this way anymore? We're going to take a really quick break. We can give you some updates on our sponsors and some other commercials that are here. Then we come back. We're going to wrap this up. Stay tuned. You're watching mbradio.us. My show here is called The World of Conscious Positive Thinking on the beautiful station with the military vets, where our vets always get to have a voice. Be right back.
It's time for a vacation, and Fairway Travels is here to share great specials for you to choose from. Discover the charm and features of one of Sandal's 16 all-inclusive, luxury-included, adults-only resorts. Or a family-friendly beaches destination in the Caribbean. Or how about a couples resort in Jamaica? If cruising's your preference, get thunderstroke aboard Carnival Cruise Lines or set sail on an award-winning Royal Caribbean ship. Join Virgin Voyages now for a wonderful adults-only sailing. It doesn't matter if you choose to travel by plane, train, automobile, cruise ship, or rowboat, we can help you reach your dream destination. Contact Fairway Travels today at 228-365-1012. That's 228-365-1012. Or email bookitnow247@gmail.com. Fairway Travels, where your journeys keep satisfying.
Stand up for the red, white, and blue. Stand up for the values we hold true. With gratitude I'll stand as our flag begins to wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Stand up, put your hand on your heart. Stand up for the freedom it imparts. Bless all who stand for justice. Bless all who stand for peace. In the home of the brave and the land of the free. Now our flag still stands for freedom, for which we paid the price. We honor and respect those who made the sacrifice. So I'll stand. So stand up for the red, white, and blue. Stand up for the values we hold true. With gratitude I'll sing as our anthem starts to play o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We stand for Senior Airman Holland Pickard,
Specialist 4th Class Robert Summey, U.S. Army. Staff Sergeant Jerry Altman, United States Air Force.
Second Lieutenant Zachary Stead, Air Force.
Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Okay, so how do I get rid of this? I have no idea how that popped up. Okay, so that brings us into Family Feud. So family feuding, if you are an adult past 35 years old and you still are not balancing, call me. Go here, look at the end. The World of Conscious Positive Thinking at mbradio.us. Please call me. Please, let's figure it out. Let's find it. And I get a lot of people who will come in and they'll go, MJ, but it's not me. Every time, my sister or my brother, and it's this. And if you are a constant victim of pointing a finger at that somebody in your family, I'm going to go right back to you. I'm going to say, how come your voice isn't heard without anger and resentment? Because I'm hearing anger and resentment. So that means you're not healed either. And I understand you keep playing the victim, but where's your part? Find your part. That is the bottom line. balance it. As a child, well, you're really sorry, and you're not that same person today, thank God, and honor that. Honor it. Don't do the opposite. Honor it. Okay? So that is Family Feud. Family Feud can be beautiful, playing Pictionary and trivia games, or you have horseshoes outside or volleyball outside when the family's over, or gathering just for some drinks and having laughter of memories of good things, not sarcastic, meanful things, right? Bring the joy and love back in. Bring the happiness and the fun times back in. Because this energy, and it's right here on the full moon, you beautiful mothers, use it to the best of your ability. Because Gemini is right here. That Gemini energy is coming. And now we're going to have to fix it. Stay tuned. And by the way, if you're interested, up here on this beautiful Mojazi Center mountain that we are creating is our first ever, and we're having our new moon Reiki circle. Miss Kim is going to be coming in. I know there's other people who are so excited that they want to come in, but it is open. It is for the public. It is a fee of $15. It's about 2 to 3 hours, give or take how many Reikis we'll be doing around the fire medicine. But you also have Mala Chance. You learn about the energies of the moon and how it affects us in everyday life. It affects every single one of us, whether you're a believer or not, it affects you. Ask a nurse or ask a doctor in the ER at every full moon. But we're not doing the full moon. It's going to be on the 27th. It is a May. It's a Tuesday. It's right after the long Labor Day. We're going to have it because after the long Labor Day, we just might need to have some beautiful fire medicine of healing and letting go so we can manifest that which we desire most, right? Okay, folks, I'm MJ here at the World of Conscious Positive Thinking on the beautiful radio station, mbradio.us, and we are the station that allows veterans to have a voice. It is my closing time, so now I have to say I do, and I do. Check out Miss Terry tonight. Be on the headlines. I will be with you in spirit. I'll be listening maybe tomorrow. But anyway, I'll be back next week. We have a great guest next week. It is Miss Rebecca Gutierrez. All you people who don't think that you need massage in your life, you do. And I'm going to prove it to you, and I'm going to show you Miss Rebecca Gutierrez. I'm very excited for this one. That is next week's show, so you don't want to miss it. I'm MJ. I'm signing out. Peace out, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.